Hello and welcome back as we continue exploring hybrid environments using AWS. In this particular lesson, we're going to talk about AWS Direct Connect. So there are several different components about Direct Connect that we need to know about for the CSA exam and to be good architects. But first, let's establish what Direct Connect is and talk about some AWS Direct Connect essentials. So AWS Direct Connect is a service that provides a dedicated network connection between your network and one of the AWS Direct Connect locations. This is done through an authorized Direct Connect provider, such as Verizon or other internet service providers. It does not require hosting any router or hardware at the Direct Connect partner location, only requires a Direct Connect location and a participating backbone provider. Again, being something like Verizon or some other internet service provider that has partnered with AWS to provide this sort of access. An AWS Direct Connect location provides access to the AWS region it is associated with, meaning that if you set up a Direct Connect connection through a particular AWS Direct Connect location, it will only provide access to resources within one specific region, and that's the region that it is going to be associated with. It does not provide access to other AWS regions. So if you wanted to access other AWS regions, you would have to connect to a different Direct Connect location. So let's take a look at these two diagrams down here to understand conceptually what Direct Connect does. So if you are connecting to AWS from your on-premise data center without using Direct Connect, what's happening is that your data is jumping from hop to hop, basically from third-party router to third-party router, all the way between your data center and AWS. Now, this can create a lot of latency or consistency issues with your data. With AWS Direct Connect, what you get is a private dedicated line between your data center and AWS that does not go over the open internet. It is a direct connection between you to the authorized provider and then using the authorized provider's backbone to the AWS Direct Connect location. And then from there, it's all on AWS hardware to your VPC or other AWS resources. So what are the benefits of Direct Connect? Well, one is reduced network cost. So it does reduce the bandwidth commitment to corporate ISP over the public internet. Also, data transferred over Direct Connect is billed at a lower rate by Amazon. So as you already know, Amazon charges for data in and data out of its services. So it does bill at a lower rate if you are using AWS Direct Connect. You also get increased network consistency. So having a dedicated private connection reduces latency over sending the traffic via public routing. Again, there's going to be less latency because you have a direct pipeline as opposed to going through all of these third-party hops to get from your data center to AWS. Also, you get a dedicated private network connection to on-premise, meaning that you can connect the Direct Connect connection to a virtual gateway in your VPC for a dedicated private connection from on-premise to the VPC. You can also use multiple VIFs or virtual interfaces to connect to multiple VPCs. So over here in the AWS console, in order to initiate the setup process for AWS Direct Connect, all you need to do is under Networking Content Delivery, come here and select Direct Connect. Now, we cannot go in and actually set up a Direct Connect as part of this lesson, but I just want you to know where to find this in the console and how to access it and begin to set it up. So let's talk about some of the other components that are required as part of Direct Connect. First is something called the cross-network connection. The cross-network connection is the physical connection between your network and the Direct Connect authorized provider, which then handles the routes and connections to AWS networks. So you have the Direct Connect authorized provider here, and the connection between your on-premise data center and the Direct Connect authorized provider is called the cross-network connection. Very important to remember that. Now, when you want to connect to your AWS resources through the Direct Connect connection, there are two ways that you can do that: through a public virtual interface or a private virtual interface. So let's talk about the private virtual interface first. So a private virtual interface allows you to interface with an AWS VPC. Now, this includes automatic route discovery using BGP and requires a public and private ASN number. However, it can only communicate with internal IP addresses inside of EC2. Again, this is a private virtual interface, much like a VPN, in which through this connection, our servers on premise can talk to EC2 instances through the private IP address without going through the internet gateway and without going over the open internet. So it'll act as a hybrid environment by allowing them to communicate with each other through their internal resources. It is also important to understand that Direct Connect is not an internet service provider. It is not providing connections over the open internet. So you cannot access public IP addresses, as again, Direct Connect is not an internet provider. Right? So understand that this is a dedicated private connection, which again works like a VPN. Now, for best practice, you should use 2 Direct Connect connections for active-active or active failover availability. Again, we're always looking for high availability and fault tolerance when we're architecting in AWS. You can also use VPN as a backup to Direct Connect connections, and you can create multiple private virtual interfaces to multiple VPCs at the same time. So we could have multiple VPCs set up within one particular region, because remember, Direct Connect only allows you to connect to one specific region. But again, we can have multiple VPCs and have multiple private virtual interfaces connecting to those various VPCs. Then we have the public virtual interface. Let's take a look at that. So the public virtual interface allows you to use a Direct Connect connection to connect to public AWS endpoints. So this is any AWS service, for example, DynamoDB and Amazon S3. Now, it does require a public CIDR block range, and even though we are accessing public endpoints, the connection maintains consistent traffic consistency as it is sent over your dedicated network. So again, if we want to access AWS services that require public endpoints, we can do that through a public virtual interface. So it's very important to understand the difference between the private virtual interface and the public virtual interface and the reasons why you would use one over the other. So in summary, Direct Connect provides a direct connection from your on-premise data center to AWS utilizing the backbone of an authorized AWS Direct Connect provider. And with that, we will conclude this lesson. Thank you for watching. You may now move on.